What do you do when you really want to eat hummus, but you don't have any chickpeas and you don't have a lemon, and you might be missing a couple of other things here and there? Stick with me, I've got you covered. I'm making red lentil hummus today, mostly because I love hummus and I don't have any chickpeas on hand. So it's super easy. You can basically make it the same way you make chickpea hummus, but I guess there's just a few rules that a lot of people think you have to abide by, and I just kind of want to squash those rules for you and just, open the doors to new possibilities. So here goes. I have a food processor here. You can use a blender, you can use a food processor. You can use one of those hand little mini chopper thingies, whatever you want. And I have some red lentils. So these are the split variety. This is what they look like when they're raw. I keep a large bucket of them on hand at all times. And they cook really fast. So I measured out a cup and then I cooked them in quite salty boiling water on like medium-high heat for about 10 minutes, and then they were soft. They became soft like this. It's almost like a mush already. So that was 1 cup raw, which equals like, I don't know, 1.5 cups cooked or something. So in goes some garlic. I've got 2 cloves. You can do 1. I don't know, I kind of like 2. And one of my favorite things to do with hummus is to blend the garlic up with whatever acid you're using. So usually this would be lemon juice, but today I'm using cider vinegar because sometimes you don't have lemons on hand. I happen to have a lemon, but I'm going to save it for something else. I'm going to do about 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar, give or take. Depends on how tangy you like it. Maybe a little more. And then I'm just going to blend this on its own. So that's kind of chopped the garlic loosely. And then another thing that kind of helps the garlic chopping is some salt. So start with about 1/2 teaspoon. I did put a lot of salt in the cooking liquid for the lentils, so I'm gonna factor that in. I'm just gonna give this a little scrape to give the garlic another bit of a chance to get chopped. Oops. And yeah, that's good. Okay, so next is the lentils. And if you want to know more about lentils, I have a whole lentil video that talks about my favorite ways to use lentils. And then tahini. So people don't use enough tahini in their hummus. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think that you need quite a bit. So for me, if I'm using a cup of bean or lentil or legume or whatever it is, I'm going to go with like a 1/4 cup of tahini. So watch this. Yeah, that's it. It just makes it so creamy and nice. And then we'll blend that. So I'm a creamy hummus fan. I know some people like it really chunky, just not a big fan of the chunk. So I'm gonna keep blending until it's really creamy. And if you find it's a little bit thin, you can always add a little bit more tahini because it weirdly thickens it up quite nicely. Let's give that a go. Okay, so this is pretty good. It's a little thin, but I kind of like it that way. It's really dippy. Just gonna give it a taste. It's really good. It's great on its own, but I'm gonna just use this opportunity to cram a couple more bits and pieces in there. So get creative. I am gonna do a little ginger and turmeric. So this is ground ginger. I'm gonna put like half a teaspoon in, just to give it a little extra pizzazz. And then same with turmeric. I mean, the whole world is a fan of turmeric right now. I'm kind of fangirling on it too. So just get it in. It makes everything such a nice color. And then I've got this Aleppo pepper, which is just kind of like a fruity, delicious, hot pepper flake. So I'm gonna go for it. And then we'll blend that in. And I think we're good for salt. Perfect. Use the end of my spoon to taste this. Yeah, it's really good. All right, so I'm just gonna chuck this into a bowl. Some of it. I hold on to the blade, see that? I hold on to the blade with my finger underneath so it doesn't fall out. This is lovely. And then you can dump some of your favorite olive oil over it. Notice I didn't put any olive oil in it. I much prefer olive oil on top. And I like to not be afraid when I put it on top, so just go for it. And then I'm gonna finish it with a little tiny bit more of this Aleppo pepper and some crunchy Malden sea salt, my fave. You guys, this is such a good hummus. Okay, I've got some carrots that I'm gonna eat it with, so. Delicious. I shouldn't have taken that giant bite. Enjoy making hummus with whatever you happen to have lying around. And we'll see you next week. Subscribe and ding the bell if you haven't already. See you later. Yeah? This shit is actually really delicious. Come on.